I decided that if I wanted to spend very much time with my husband and his leisure, I was going to have to come out to the launches. So when I started coming out, I think after the first launch, I told him, you know, I think I'd like to do this. And he got me started and bought my first kit for that following Christmas, and also bought me a bunch of pieces that I had no idea what they were. And when I started putting them together, and he was kind of coaching me through this, that following February, I think it was Valentine's weekend, we went to a launch near Dallas, and one of the ladies said, "What did your husband get you for Valentine's Day?" And I said, "Well, he got me this wonderful trip. He took me on this wonderful trip to launch the rockets that he gave me for Christmas." So that's how I got started, and you know, I've kept up the interest, because when you go out to the launches, you see all these people doing things, and they're all very innovative in how they're doing them. Nobody does it alike. They share information. It's very inspiring, and that's why right after a launch, I do most of my, you know, thinking at the launches, but I do most of my work right after a launch, because you get very inspired and you don't want to lose that. Well, actually, this style kind of fell together. I like the way it looked. I like the more rounded edges. Basically, when I was talking to people who had done this, I found that this was for what I wanted to do, and this is a level 3 certification rocket. It's not going to go very high. It's not going to go very fast. It's going to be very visible. And with this confirmation, it will be something that just kind of gets lobbed up into the air and comes down, and you can see your mistakes very easily there. Right now I'm a level 2, but a couple of days ago I did do a test flight on this rocket, and with just minimal alterations, it will be flying a level 3 at the next launch. So I'm going to certify at the next launch, I'll put it that way. This rocket has dual deployment. That means that it will have a chute on the main section, and it'll have a chute on the tail section. So when we have the electronics that have a charge in them, and they will set off a charge that blows off the tail section, which puts out a small chute to slow the rocket down. You want to slow it down because it's going to be at the altitude, say, of 4,000 feet. You want to slow it down without it free falling and picking up more speed as it falls, so that when it gets down to a level of about 500 feet, you're going to be able to put out a main chute, which will come out at the top section, and the nose cone will fall off, the main chute will come out, and it's the bigger of the two chutes, and it will, you know, hopefully and most likely, it will gently fall to the ground. This is the electronics bay, and this over here is a timer. There are brand names for timers and altimeters and things like this. These are both made by the same manufacturer. This is the timer, and this is the altimeter. Now, the altimeter will record information that whenever your rocket launch is over with, whenever you've brought it back to the pad or brought it back to your car, you can take these this plate off, and it will have the altitude of the actual launch. This is a redundant system, because this is such an important flight for me. I want to make sure that the charges go off when I want them to, and so I have both of these charges, the top one and the bottom one, wired to both of these pieces of electronics. So that way, if one just happens not to work, the other one will pick it up, and I will have a safe flight. If you're interested in getting into this sport, it's really not hard to do. All you have to do is find a local hobby shop. There's launches all over, and those people will know where they are. You ask questions when you get to the launch, go to people who seem to be in charge, and you'll find those people because they're everywhere. Talk to those people, find out all the information you can, and you know, just buy you some rockets and get started. It's not that hard.